welcome back. We're looking at Gameweek 202. So let's just get right into it. I've updated the numbers here for Gameweek 200. So last weekend is basically clubs getting back from the international break and things like that. So this is kind of like what I think a typical weekend tends to look like or will look like over the coming months. Obviously, through the summer, and the different game weeks were a bit odd and all over the map. So we're going to start to get some normalcy, and what I'll be able to do is compare these winning point thresholds across a span of say 6 or 8 weeks, and actually kind of average them out and look at that. So, but for now, we can look at this, and it definitely serves as a proxy or some insight for this weekend. As we can see. Again, you pretty much need a little over 300, so 310, 320 in order to get a card. And so divide that by your 5 cards. That's what is that now? That's about 60, 65 points per card, something like that. So keep that in mind when you're building your lineups. U23 still almost every week tends to be just slightly below the rest. So that's maybe an opportunity to exploit. Certainly a lot. My roster is built a lot around kind of U23 players and stuff. So, and then, as we see, this is kind of started to normal out. I think in the spring or late spring, early summer, we found some opportunity where it actually made more sense to go into Div 3 because you could win a tier 2 card by scoring even lower than what you needed to score in the Div 4, because people were just sort of piling into Div 4. Now it's kind of normaled out, but there is still the odd instance here. Look at Champion Asia. You needed 370 last weekend to get that tier 2 card, but if you had played that lineup in Div 3, you only needed 350, so you would have moved a little further up the ranks. So that's going to happen a little bit, but for the most part, you score, and it happened here as well. They seem to be somewhere close to each other at least. So it's a bit of a guessing game, I think. Nothing else too much. We can look down at Div 5 here and see that the payouts are pretty strong, and we're starting to see these numbers start to creep up to the levels of up here, but still pretty attainable. I mean, again, 240 points to win a card here at the U23. That's certainly attainable. It's about 50 points per card or so. So 270s, things like that. It's not too hard to build a lineup to get you into that place. So still kind of a great opportunity to exploit, get a decent lineup into these tournaments and see how you do, because there's cards to be won, and as you can see, they're really trying to promote it. So the winning percentage, the payout percentage is quite high as well. So with that, let's look ahead for this weekend. So again, these numbers are not set in stone. They're still growing between about 7 or 8 hours, something like that, until this game week window closes. So these will go up. So take these with a grain of salt, but it's more about looking at them comparably against each other. So nothing too surprising in most of them. Probably the only one is Champion Europe is at a pretty high payout, more than we've seen in a little while. And again, I'd said in previous videos, Champion Europe tends to be the one of the hardest ones to win, has the highest points required to win. If we go back, 350, 390, 400, things like that. So, so here's another 50, 400. That'll continue. Obviously, some of the best teams, best players, things like that. So, but it's nice that they're trying to potentially they've seen this as well, and so what they're trying to do is actually increase the amount of payouts so that it doesn't become unattainable. That it, maybe with a 320 point or 310 or something, you can see the card. So that's nice to see. I'm hoping that this actually continues going forward. Challenger Europe is also starting to sneak up. We see this here where the points that you need to win are similar to Champion Europe. There's a lot of clubs right now in Challenger Europe in the So Rare game in terms of who they've signed up. So this will tend to be competitive, and we're seeing this. That I think in the spring last year when I joined, I found that this area was a really nice place to win some cards and things like that. But it's getting a little tougher. So. Champion America is this is pretty similar, same as Asia, from where it's been in previous weeks, 7%, 9%. Here we're at 7 and 10. The special weekly is interesting. This one's based on you need at least 3 La Liga players, and so the payout's actually pretty high, pretty reasonable, and not a ton of people in there. I'm kind of excited about this one for a few reasons. The actual payout. Let's look. So forget about the payouts, the 7.4% here, and sort of a tier 2. But what's also exciting here is beyond that. So at 55, tier 2, and then this odd kind of one spot, you get a tier 1. But 53 to get a super rare. That happened to me just last weekend. I finished something 50th or something, and so I got a tier 3 super rare. Not the greatest card, but it's always nice to get a super rare. And there's a sort of a floor or baseline value of those that you can on sell or just hang on to. So this looks kind of fun playing it. And in fact, I'll show you what I went my lineup. See how I go. And what's also great is that you can play a combination of different tiers of cards, which you can't do in any of the other tournaments, at least for this one. So, for example, I have Reina here as a limited card, and I'm able to play that in this lineup. Whereas, some of my other guys here, most of these guys aren't playing this week, and I don't think I even had anyone else that I could use. So. Strong household names, if you will, here. Dervisoglu's super rare here that hoping he can pull out some of these. But I think I should have a good shot, at least to get somewhere in the ranks. But we'll see. On here to the tier 5s or the division 5 rather. So again, large payouts that we're seeing. They're trying to get people involved and excited and winning. But again, kind of mirroring what's up here, champion Europe in particular, 23% payout. That's massive. 100, almost 150 out of 600 participants are going to come away with a card, and it's champion Europe card. So potentially from some good clubs. So. Get in there if you can. I don't quite have a roster for that. I think I'm going to play in this U23. I have an okay lineup, but I heard to even say last weekend we're 12% here and 19% in Challenger Europe. These are all fairly steady, but they're definitely pumping up champion Europe. So sneak in there if you can. I think that's a nice little one, and the special weekly looks fun. And if you think you can put up big points. Then look at the Champion Europe Div 4 as well. So there you have it. We'll talk soon. Best of luck.